Hello and welcome to your practice. So the theme for today's practice is Yang to Yin. So in this short practice we're going to fuse together postures that are from two separate styles of yoga. So our Yang yoga is what you typically think of when you think of a yoga practice. So building some heat, generally speaking, a lot of standing postures, warming up the muscles, kind of like your typical yoga workout kind of class, generally speaking. Yin yoga is the opposite. So yin yoga is where you are holding the postures for several minutes apiece, and it's a more cooling practice, so it's a lot slower. There's a lot less movement. A lot less up and down, and you get more deeply into your ligaments, your joints, and your myofascial tissue. So your myofascial tissue is the bag, quote unquote bag, that covers each one of your muscles. So your main muscles, like the muscles in your arms and your legs. So it gets a little more deeply into these areas, and you will hold these postures for several minutes typically in a typical yin yoga class. So with that being said, without any further ado, let's get started. And so starting in your comfortable seated position. So you're going to straighten and lengthen your spine. So coming to your version of a comfortable seat, that may not be with your legs folded, such as I am. You can always sit with your legs straight out, or you can sit even on a chair if sitting down on the ground is too much for you. And as you come to your comfortable seat, you're going to grow long and tall in your spine. Let your shoulders be soft down your back. Soften your face, your neck, and your jaw. Bring your tongue off of the roof of your mouth. Your hands can be resting in a gesture such as a mudra in your lap if you prefer. So Dhyana mudra is how I have my hands resting. That is my favorite mudra. It's for clarity and concentration. And so mudras help direct the flow of energy or prana, life force in your body. They also help you connect more deeply to yourself, your innermost self. Or they can just rest, your hands can just rest somewhere else, so they do not have to rest in a certain position. You can simply have your palms resting on your thighs. And if you have not done so already, close your eyes down. And just begin to tune in to the natural flow of your breath. And so allowing your inhales to expand your belly, side bodies, so the areas here beside your ribs, underneath of your ribs. And then let the inhale travel into your chest, and then your exhale is going to allow all of those areas to soften and relax back down to their original state. So just tuning in to the here and the now. Leaving all of the previous events of the day in the background. And then just gently sweeping the upcoming events moving forward once we walk off of our mats and finish our practice. Gently sweeping those events off to the side. And so coming into the here and the now is a great way to come into a meditative state. So just leaving the past in the past and letting the future be ahead of us. And so over your next couple of breaths, set an intention for your class. So a positive word or phrase. setting the intention helps ground us into why we are on our yoga mats and why we are coming into this very moment right here, right now. So some examples can be peace, love, patience. That's a big one for me. That's pretty much my favorite intention to set. It could be a phrase such as, I will extend kindness to all living beings. So once you have come into that intention, take some deep breaths into that intention to seal it in. As you are ready, slowly flutter your eyes open. We're going to make our way to begin with into a tabletop position. And I recommend 2 blocks for this class, or even 1. You may need them to help support you in some of the postures. If you don't have blocks, that's okay. You don't have to. So tabletop position is shoulders over the wrists and hips over the knees. We're going to start warming up our spine with some cat-cow postures. So just gently drawing your navel towards your spine. Your toes can be tucked or not. That is completely up to you. Sometimes tucking the toes helps a little bit with balance. Pressing down through the 4 corners of the palms. So the 4 corners of the palms are the inner and outer portions of your palms where your fingers meet your hands. And the inner and outer portions right where your hand meets your arm, so right in the wrist area. And so pressing down through those 4 corners, grip your mat with your finger pads. And sometimes that helps to just gently bend those second knuckles of your fingers. This gives you more stability throughout the entirety of your practice when you are in postures that require some extra stability in your shoulder girdle and your arms. Next, inhale, you're going to drop your belly, raise your hips, pull your heart through your shoulder blades. So this is our cow pose. Exhale, you're going to press the earth away round the spine. Draw your chin in towards your chest and your navel towards your spine. This is your cat pose. 4 more rounds of these. So inhale, drop the belly, raise the hips, pull the heart through the shoulder blades. Beautiful. Exhale, round the spine, press the earth away, chin to chest, navel to spine. Look at your belly button. Inhale, drop the belly, raise the hips, look up high. Exhale, round the spine, chin to chest, navel to spine. Inhale to drop the belly, raise the hips, look up. And then exhale, press the earth away, round the spine, chin to chest, navel to spine. Inhale, drop the belly, raise the hips, look up high. And then exhale, 2, round the spine, draw the chin in towards the chest. Last round, this is more of a yang type of movement. Inhale, drop the belly, raise the hips, look up. Exhale, press the earth away, round the spine, chin to chest, navel to spine. Next, inhale, we're going to come back to our neutral tabletop position. You may want to curl your toes on your left foot. Then as you exhale, you're going to draw the right foot out behind you, so straightening your right leg. So as you do this, see if you can draw your right hip down and raise your left hip up. This also gives you more stability, turns on your core muscles. Take a deep breath in through the nose, breath out. You're going to glide the right foot out to the right. Step the right sole of the foot, this may come off of your mat, and that's okay, down onto the earth. Still want to keep that navel drawn in towards center. Take a deep breath in through the nose, press the earth away. Breath out, you're going to walk your palms forward. Bring that left hip down towards that left heel. and your forehead is going to rest on the earth. So a couple of notes about this. Your left hip may not reach down to your left heel. You'll see that I've got some space in between mine. That's totally okay. You have to do what your own beautiful body will allow. And also, you can take up that space with one of your blocks, if you so choose. Wherever you are in the posture, take a deep inhale here, in through the nose, expand out through your belly, chest, and side body. And exhale to stay. Next breath in, we're pressing the earth away. We're going to come back up into our tabletop position. Move your block out of the way. And exhale. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Gripping your mat with your finger pads, pressing down through the four corners of the palm. Hips are directly over the knees, and so all of these postures that we're starting with to warm up, we're warming ourselves up, so these are all yang type postures. These are more yang type movements. Next, inhale, curling the right toes. You might even draw that right knee in towards the center of your mat. You're going to extend the left toes out behind you. Really press the earth away. Exhale, we begin by dropping the left hip and raising the right one up. Really draw in through your navel here. Take a deep breath in through the nose, breath out. Let's slowly glide that left foot over to the left, stepping the left sole of the foot off to the left onto the earth. And another thing to note here is doing double-sided postures. So postures that are on either side. You will notice a difference in stiffness and other sorts of things on each side. Take a deep breath in through the nose, breath out. We walk our palms forward, and we bring our right hip down towards the right heel. So once again, you might need to take up space in between the heel and the hip. You're going to feel a deep opening, not only in your right hip, but also your left groin, so the left groin muscle in your left leg. Take a deep breath in through the nose, reach through the fingertips. And breath out, next breath in. We look up in between our hands. Coming back up, we move our block off to the side. Return the right knee in towards center, coming into a tabletop position. So one thing about practicing outdoors is you get pesky bugs that want to bite you. I must be delicious. Take a deep breath in through the nose, press the earth away, drawing your navel in towards your spine. Breath out, we're going to walk our hands forward once again, curl our toes and hinge our hips, coming into our Adho Mukha Svanasana, our downward facing dog. So you'll notice that I am moving from side to side. I might even shake my head, yes and no. Twist my torso side to side. So this is a really great way to loosen up any kind of tension that may have built up in those postures that are down low to the earth. Adho Mukha Svanasana is typically also a yang posture. We do sometimes explore it in our yin practice, since we are holding the postures for so long. Sometimes for a minute, several minutes or so. Sometimes it's nice to just kind of loosen up in between those yin postures. Coming back to center, back to stillness, pressing the earth away as you take a deep breath in. Turn your upper arms towards each other. That stabilizes the shoulder girdle. And then breath out, we're going to walk our feet all the way up to the top of the mat. Big toes can touch or feet can be hip distance. Next breath in, extend the fingertips behind you, rising up to a flat back. Breath out. Nose is going to come down towards the knees to fold. Uttanasana, forward fold in yang style. In the yin style, this is actually called dangling pose. Next breath in, reverse swan dive. Arms come out and up. Palms touch up top. tuck the tailbone up towards your navel. And then exhale, touching palms land at heart center. So we're starting this practice by warming ourselves up a little bit. And then in between, we'll do some yin postures to cool ourselves down. Next, inhale, press palms, rise up towards the sky. Gaze goes up. Tailbone is tucked up towards the belly button. Exhale, swan dive down. Lead with your heart, nose towards the knees to fold. Inhale, fingertips fly up behind you as you rise your torso up for a flat back, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fingertips plant, step the right toes back, dropping the right knee down to the earth. Next, inhale, fingertips float forward and up, torso stacks over the hips. Drag your left hip back, right hip forward. Exhale, goal post your arms, let your hips sink down towards the earth. So this is a nice little hip opening posture here. Inhale, two, let your fingertips frame your left foot, your front foot. Straighten your back leg, your right leg. Tops of the shoulder heads down and away from the ears. Perhaps you dare to get light in your fingers. Exhale, perhaps you don't. Plant your palms and step your left foot to meet your right one, downward facing dog. Next, inhale, bend the knees, raise the heels and hips up high, pressing firmly into those four corners of your palm. Exhale, heels and heart melt down towards the earth. Chin in towards your chest as you inhale. Roll your body forward into your plank pose. See if you can get your shoulders over your wrists. And if you can't keep yourself up this way, you can always drop your knees down. And then your chest and your chin. You can keep your hips raised. Releasing all 10 toenails. Inhale, two, plant your palms, peel your heart up for your Bhujangasana Cobra pose. Shoulders down your back, gaze goes up. Exhale, curl toes and hinge hips. Coming into your downward facing dog. Next inhale, we're going to float the left toes up towards the sky. So you can keep your shoulders squared. So as left toes go up, your right shoulder wants to go down. See if you can rise him back up. And then exhale, round your spine, draw your left knee in towards your nose, stepping your left toes in between, left foot in between your hands. Dropping your right heel off towards the back left corner of your mat. Next, inhale, we're going to drag the right fingertips up and around. Exhale, we're going to meet in our warrior two position. So your left heel should be in alignment with the arch of your right foot here. Soften your shoulders down your back. You're extending through all 10 fingertips. Take a deep breath in. Your gaze goes over your left middle finger. Exhale, see if you can sink down more deeply into that left knee. Next breath in, we turn our left toes to face, left and right toes, to face the long edge of the mat. Let your palms touch together up top. Breath out. Warrior two towards the back of the mat. So keep in mind we are still in our yang postures here. This is a rather warming practice. Take a deep breath in. Stretch through all 10 fingers. Shoulders are soft. Breath out. Sink down more deeply into that right knee. Next breath in, all 10 toes face the long edge of the mat. We touch our palms together once again. And breath out, we're going to come back to our warrior two towards the front edge of the mat. Deep breath in, reach through all 10 fingers. Tuck your tailbone up towards your belly button. Breath out, we're going to circle the arms down and around. Breath in, we're going to come into a low runner's lunge position. Breath out, let the right knee sink down to the earth. Bring your left foot in towards your groin, and your left knee is going to land in between your hands. So not everybody's hips come all the way down here. This is called pigeon pose. And it's called pigeon pose in a yang practice, but this is our very first yin posture. So in our yin practice, it's actually called swan pose. So you can bring a block under your hips if your hips don't come all the way down. And just keep in mind, as I said at the beginning of the practice, we will be in this posture. We're going to hold all of our yin postures in this practice for a minute. And we've only got a couple of yin postures, but we are going to hold them for a minute. So, left knee is in between the hands. Block is under the hips. I'm going to set my little timer on my watch here. Those three key aspects of your yin practice is you want to find your first area of sensation. So you're going to find the first area where you feel a little something going on as far as a stretch. And you're going to get nice and still. And you're going to hold for time. So we will be here for just 1 minute. So getting nice and quiet and still. And just naturally breathe into what you feel. Ever so slowly, our minute is up. We're going to plant our palms as we breathe in. Breath out, we're going to curl the back toes. And however you can get there, you're going to bring the left big toe, or the left foot, to meet the right one in our downward facing dog. And I had mentioned earlier, sometimes it feels good to move from side to side. Shake your head yes and no in your downward facing dog. When you're holding a static yin posture, sometimes this is a really great way to loosen up. Or you can remain completely still wherever you are in the posture. Breathe deep. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Coming back to center, back to stillness if you are moving. Next, inhale, we're going to bring our gaze up in between our hands. Tops of the shoulder heads down and away from the ears. And then exhale, we're going to walk our feet all the way up to the top of the mat. Inhale, we rise to our Ardha Uttanasana, flat back. Exhale, bending the knees as much as you need to. Draw your nose down towards your knees to fold. Next, inhale, reverse swan dive. Arms come out and up. Palms touch up top, tuck the tailbone up towards the navel. Exhale, palms land at heart center. All right, so I switch sides so I won't end up backwards. So we're going to do all of that stuff on the other side. Next, inhale, palms press together, rise them up towards the sky. Exhale, two, swan dive down, lead with your heart, nose towards the knee. Come into your forward fold position. Next, inhale, arms sweep behind, fingertips flex behind you. Ardha Uttanasana, flat back. Exhale, plant the fingertips, step the left toes back, dropping the left knee down to the earth. Right knee stacked over right ankle. Inhale, fingertips float forward enough, stack the torso over the hips, reach your fingers up high, Draw your left hip forward, right hip back. You look gorgeous. Exhale to sink those squared hips down. Goal posting your arms and letting your gaze go up high. Next, inhale, we plant our fingertips on the earth. Straighten your back leg. Tops of the shoulder heads down and away from the ears. Exhale, plant your palms and step to your downward facing dog. Next, inhale, bend the knees. Raise the heels and hips up high. Exhale, heels and heart. Melt down to the earth. Chin in towards your chest. You're going to inhale and roll your body forward into your plank pose. See if you can get your shoulders over your wrists. Exhale, if you haven't already, drop your knees, your chest and your chin, elbows close to the wrists. And then inhale, drop the entire front side of your body. Release all 10 toenails. Pressing into your palms, you're peeling your heart up as high as you can go for your Bhujangasana Cobra pose. Exhale, curl toes, hinge hips, downward facing dog. Next, inhale, we're going to float those right toes now up towards the sky. So remember, when you're in your three-legged dog, first of all, you can drop that bottom knee down. You don't have to have it up. Secondly, sometimes that left shoulder will dump. So you definitely want to rise him back up and make sure he's even with the right one. Exhale to round the spine. Draw your right knee in towards your chest or your nose and step your right foot in between your hands. Dropping your left heel off towards the right back corner of your mat. Inhale to sweep your left fingertips forward, up and around. Exhale, we land in our Warrior Two position. So, if you're like me, you might not be perfectly anatomically aligned, ever. I have come a long way in my practice, but I still feel like it's never perfect, and that's okay. But some main key points you want to check, first of all, in this posture specifically, Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2, you want your right heel to be somewhere in line with the left arch of the foot. Take a deep breath in, reach through all 10 fingers, tuck your tailbone up towards your belly button. Exhale to sink down more deeply into that right knee. Remember, if you're feeling it, you're doing it. And these are warming postures. So we're back to our yang postures now. Take a deep breath in. Turn all 10 toes towards the long edge of the mat. Touch your palms together up towards the sky. Gaze goes up. Tailbone tucked up towards the belly button. Shoulders are soft. Breath out. We spin towards the other side of the mat. And Warrior Two to the other side. Take a deep breath in, reach through all 10 fingers, tuck your tailbone forward. Breath out, sink down more deeply into that left knee. Take a deep breath in. We're doing the same movement once again. So touching the palms together, tailbone tucks up, gaze goes up high if you can. And breath out, back down to Warrior Two, where we started just a few moments ago. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Breath out, we cartwheel our arms down. Breath in, we're in our low runner's lunge position. So you get the most out of this posture if you draw your belly button up towards your spine and stay lighter in that back foot. And also as light as you can in your fingertips. Once again, you can always drop your back knee down. And breath out, we plant our palms. Bring the right knee in between the hands and the right foot towards the groin. So this is our swan pose, our yin pose. You will notice that it can be different on each side. So if you'll notice for me, I don't have to put anything under my hips on this side. I'm a little more open on this side. And you may not be more open. That's okay. If you need a block or a blanket under your hips, please feel free, or even a pillow, please just feel free to use those guys as props. And since this is our yin posture, we are going to be in this posture for a minute. And get our timer ready. Remembering, once you come into this posture, to find your first edge of sensation. You don't want to go deeply into the posture when you're holding them for several minutes. We're only holding these for one because this is kind of an introductory type of thing. And this is a mixture of two different styles. But when you're in a classical yin class, you may be in the postures for 3 to 5 or even more if you are advanced. So, finding your first edge of sensation. And I will set the timer now, as I was going to do a moment ago. Getting nice and still and holding for time. So, in our yin practice, even though it seems like it, we are not actually trying to accomplish anything. We are actually just letting gravity and positive stress work its magic on our joints, ligaments, and myofascial tissue. So closing your eyes down. I love a yin practice for the meditative quality. So this is a great time to come into some simple meditation. Is up. So, gently coming over onto your right hip and just bring that left leg around. So just coming to a seated position, however you can. Bringing both big toes to touch, bouncing your knees up and down. Growing long and tall in your spine. So bouncing the knees will help release some of that work that we just did, some of the tension that just built up in our swan pose. And coming back to center, back to stillness, we're going to actually end this class, this short class, with another yin posture. So we're going to come into our butterfly pose. I really like butterfly pose seated on a block. You can also use a block too, because we're going to lean forward in our butterfly posture. So you can also use a block in between your legs to lean your head down to help take up the space in between your head and the earth. So I am going to set our handy dandy little timer. After this posture, we'll come into a short meditation and then we'll close. But first, come into your version of your butterfly pose. So your feet, soles of the feet are touching together. Your knees are out to the sides. If it bothers you to have your knees up off of the earth, it does not bother me at all. But if it bothers you, if you have extra blocks, blankets, pillows, bolsters, what have you, you can always bring them under your knees. Because remembering that a yin posture is more of a cooling posture. So you're not trying to accomplish anything other than getting more deeply into your tissues. All right, so I'm going to set our little timer here. And then you're just going to lean forward. So if leaning forward for you does not work, you can feel free to stay sitting up. I find I get the most out of this posture if I lean. And find your first edge, your first area of sensation. Get nice and still. And hold for time. is up. So ever so slowly, we rise back up. And for me, I'm going to come off of my props because that is no longer comfortable. So bring your hands behind you, bring your feet a little wider than hip distance, and just come into some seated windshield wipers here. So just letting your knees fall side to side. And if you want to get extra open, perhaps you even draw circles with your head, if that doesn't get too confusing with dropping your knees from side to side. Just coming into some organic movements to get nice and loose and open here. And as you are ready, coming back to center, back to stillness. And as I had just said, we're going to come into this seated meditation. So finding a comfortable seat, and perhaps that is different, as you see me doing here, than you did at the beginning of class. And grow long and tall in your spine. Once again, shoulders are softened down your back. Just gently tuck your tailbone up and forward. Bringing your chin parallel to the earth, relaxing your face, neck, and jaw. Bring your tongue off of the roof of your mouth. And just notice what you might feel here. So notice the difference in what you're feeling from when we started class a short while ago. And just breathe into what you feel. And slowly flutter your eyes open. Bring your palms to touch at heart center. Bow your chin softly in toward your chest. Thank your body and your breath for this practice. Thank yourself for showing up. Bringing your thumbs to touch at your third eye center, the space in between your eyebrows. And in our shared collective offerings, we bow forward. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today. And if you have any questions directly for me or any comments that you'd like to leave on this video, please feel free to do so. I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. I post content at least once or twice every week or couple of weeks. And so